Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're turning our attention to the dark and frankly deeply fascinating history of what is widely considered India's most infamous ruined location. We're heading deep into the Alwar district of Rajasthan to look at Bhangarh Fort. It's this incredible place where majestic ancient architecture meets, well, legendary terror. We're going to break down exactly what happened here, step by step, diving into both the historical lore and the visual evidence left behind. To really set the stage for you, imagine standing right in front of these massive broken stone gates. The orange sunset is slowly fading into this deep, eerie blue night, right? And a thick, mysterious fog just begins to roll across the abandoned pathways. Now, there's a chilling restriction placed on this very location. Why is it absolutely forbidden to stay in Bhangarh after sunset? I mean, think about it. It's incredibly rare for an entire area to be completely off limits to the living once the sun goes down. That right there immediately tells us there's a complex, very dark story waiting in the shadows. The answer to that mystery lies in the terrifying local rumors that have echoed through these dark, silent ruins for generations. The local lore states, with absolute, chilling certainty, whoever went in at night never came back. When you look at the desolate landscape, the dry dead trees, the pitch-black corridors of the fort, it's so easy to see how these sensory details fuel the terrifying belief that stepping through those gates at midnight is literally a one-way journey.
Which brings us to Section 1, the Princess and Black Magic. Now, what's really interesting here is the stark, almost cinematic contrast between the two central figures of this historical narrative. On one side, you have Princess Ratnavati. She was this royal figure adorned in traditional Rajput dress and renowned far and wide across the entire kingdom for her immense beauty and grace. But then, lurking in the shadows, was Tantric Sinya. He was a practitioner of dark occult arts, usually draped in black robes, living in a cave lit only by fire torches. And most importantly, he was a man completely consumed by a dark obsession to possess the princess at any cost.
The Tantric's dark plot actually unfolded chronologically in 3 distinct phases. It kicked off with his silent obsession, secretly watching the princess from the shadows of the palace. Then things escalated into phase 2, a full-blown black magic ritual performed deep within his glowing, smoke-filled cave. And the culmination, phase 3, was the creation of the cursed oil. Basically, he chanted an occult spell over a bottle of oil with the terrifying intention that the exact moment the princess applied it, she would instantly fall under his magical control. But the spell violently backfires. Step 1. Princess Ratnavati, who clearly possessed some very sharp intuition, discovers the sinister trick before it's too late. Step 2. In a highly dramatic moment of quick thinking in her candlelit chamber, she takes that glowing enchanted oil and literally hurls it onto a large nearby stone. And then, Step 3. The suspenseful climax. The magical energy binds to the stone itself. This massive, magically charged boulder suddenly rolls right toward the terrified Tantric, ultimately crushing him beneath its weight and turning his own dark magic completely against him. Moving on to Section 2, Death and the Terrible Curse. As a tantrically dying, crushed by that heavy stone and surrounded by what's described as a dark supernatural storm, he raised his hand and unleashed a terrifying final curse upon the beautiful city of Bhangarh. The legend records his intense, dying words. This entire city will be ruined, and no one living here will survive. Honestly, it wasn't just a threat. It was a promise of total apocalyptic destruction. And the historical record, woven right into the lore, tells us that this dark promise seemingly came true. Just shortly after the curse was spoken, a fierce historical battle ravaged the area. Rajput warriors clashed, fire and smoke filled the air, and the once great city of Bhangarh was completely destroyed. The beautiful architecture was broken apart, the streets were emptied out, and the entire kingdom was reduced to an abandoned, lifeless ruin covered in dust. Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, Mysterious Sounds and Terror. Even today, local villagers, sitting by the dim light of lanterns, tell very specific, sensory stories about what happens in the dead of night inside the fort. They claim to hear whispers in the dark. They describe hearing the distinct chime of a woman's anklets just echoing through the empty stone corridors. They report terrifying screams piercing the eerie silence, and the unmistakable sound of phantom footsteps walking right behind them. To the locals, the invisible presence of the past still actively haunts the fort.
And this brilliantly illustrates the most fascinating part of the Bhangarh story. We are not just talking about folklore passed on a campfire. This intersects directly with actual modern reality. The Archaeological Survey of India, which is an official government body, has placed a literal warning board right outside the fort. The sign explicitly restricts anyone from staying on the premises after sunset. It's such a striking, highly unusual collision between local ghost stories and official government regulations.
So Section 4, is it just a ringer? The crucial point we have to ask is this. Does a dark secret still live within the ruins of Bhangarh? Or is it just a story? I want you to really think about this as you weigh the evidence we've covered today. Are the ghostly female silhouettes and transparent shadows that people swear they see under the moonlight actually real manifestations of an ancient curse? Or is the incredibly eerie atmosphere, the deep fog, and the absolute isolation simply playing perfectly crafted tricks on the human mind? Ultimately, the enduring legend of Bhangarh Fort leaves us with a profound, provocative question to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. Are there mysteries in this world that even science cannot understand? Whether you firmly believe in the supernatural or you strictly trust in logic and science, the ruined, silent walls of Bhangarh Fort continue to stand as a dramatic monument to the unknown. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this fascinating story and keep questioning the mysteries around you.